count my money in there today, and I can't remember how much I had. Well, yes, it's Don Morrison's Raging Thirst again, ready to go. Eddie's putting some emphasis on the importance of tuning the bass, which we're appreciative of.
Thank you very much. Once you've been a musician for a few years, you learn that if your bass is in tune, it sounds good. And if it's not in tune, it sounds bad. So, you're welcome.
Could have cut 20 years off Dad's dag end.
Asleep, I heard the devil call my name. He said, "Don boy, come on down. It's time I stake my claim." Well, I cried, and I cried out loud. I regret what I have done. But the devil, he just laughed. He said, "Don, you had your fun." Heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. Well, at last, I finally woke. My room was all in flames, my lungs filled with smoke. I heard the devil call my name. I cried, "Lord, help me now." But he just turned the other cheek. He said, "I can't help you now. You got your destiny to me." Heard the devil call my name. Heard the devil call my name. Now I feel like I'm burning up inside. I got nowhere to run and nowhere to Well, I said to the devil, "Mate, how would you feel? Maybe we could get together and do some sort of deal." He said, "I've been burned by that crap before. I don't do that crossroad shit anymore." Heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. Now I feel like I'm burning up inside. I got nowhere to run
Thank you. A song about the devil there.
Now we're going to do a song. I haven't done this for a while, but it's a. When I went to live in Melbourne in the early 80s, I was living in St Kilda, and St Kilda at the time was an artistic hub. But it had a whole lot of drugs going down there and all sorts of stuff, you know.
Yeah, an artistic hub.
Yeah. And I remember my music career was going so well that I took a job delivering groceries. And this story happened when I delivered some groceries in just East St Kilda there. I turned my van into Hotham Street to make the same delivery on the same day of the week. I pulled up at the flats of number 5. Seen a body before, I knew that he was dead. Still I did my best to breathe some life into his remains, while she looked on and in desperation quietly called his name. Help me, she cried. I think my friend has died. Help me, she cried. I think my friend has died. And when the ambulance men arrived some minutes later, they took one look at his arms. One of them looked up, sadly shook his head, he said, sorry boy, but this one is dead. I went back to the flats the next week to speak to the caretaker about the boy who she said had gone to meet his maker. She said his brothers came down from the country yesterday and cleared all his things away. They put all he owned in the boot of a car. Then they drove away. Help me, she cried. I think my friend has died. Help me, she cried. My friend has died. Help me, she cried. My friend has died. Help me, she cried. My friend has died. Now, I was going across the Hayplane Blues for the dozenth time, is that a word? A while back, and this song sort of crept into my head, and I sort of realised that unless you live in Deniliquin or Hay or one of those places there, nobody knows much about the Hayplane Blues, because except for Adelaide people who drive to Sydney across the Hayplane. People from Sydney don't come to Adelaide. And if you go from Melbourne to Sydney, you just go up the Hume Highway. So it's the Hayplane is is our bag, man. And everybody said, I'm going to interrupt with the story with a beer. But I remember when the Bodgies first went to play in Sydney, everybody said, oh, you'll have to cross the Hayplane. So, we're thinking, what the hell? Anyway, it wasn't challenging or anything. It was just a bit, yeah. That's it. And guess what? I was there. I was in Canberra a few weeks ago, and something went wrong with my brand new Volkswagen Caddy van. Not brand new. It was not 2013, but brand new for me. And I had to drive across the Hayplane in low power mode. And I got home anyway. But anyway, I've lost the train of my thoughts. That's right. The Hayplane Blues. I drove all the way to Sydney in the middle of the night. When I went through Penrith, it started getting light. In that narrow street in Newtown, outside that front door, finally got through to me. I couldn't do this anymore. So I turned around and drove back from where I came, fighting with the sun on that wide empty plain. With the Hayplane Blues, just drive on through. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. That was years and years ago. I tried not to think about it much. There are a lot of good reasons to fall out of touch. But I just got a call, so I'm going back again. This time I'm driving to farewell an old friend. With the Hayplane Blues, just drive on through. There's a lot of time to think out there. There's a lot of sky to see. An eagle drifting way up in the air, trying to find a tree. With the Hayplane Blues, just drive on through. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. The Hayplane Blues. The Hayplane Blues. The Hayplane Blues. Now, I just struck me Kensington Road.
Yeah.
Do it in this guitar. The original.
We've always done.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Just a quick band practice.
As far as I know, there's only 2 songs ever been written that mention Kensington Road. There's the one I'm going to do for you, we're going to do for you in a minute, and the one that Paul Kelly wrote. And my connections with Paul Kelly go right back to he was born on the same day as me. He was born in Kensington Gardens. I was born in Magoo, just around over the road. We both come from big families. He of course had 9 siblings and I only had 7. Big Catholic families. Both went to Catholic colleges. He went to the most expensive Rostrevor and I went to the cheapest, Morris Brothers, just down there. And the less said about that, the better. We both barracked for Nord. We both went to Melbourne about the same time. He sold hundreds of thousands of records and I've sold hundreds. In fact, the only thing I've got on Paul Kelly is that I don't have to wear a hat when I play.
You know he'd trade it all to have your hairline, Dad.
He would. He wrote to me, he said,
Yeah,
how do you get your hair done?
Yeah, I saw that letter. It was pathetic.
Right. I said I didn't take drugs when I was younger, mate.
No one here from Paul Kelly's legal team, is there?
Well, if you keep on driving up Kensington Road, you'll end up on a hill. You can look out all over the city from there, where it's quiet and it's still. Well, there must be a million people down there, all lined up in straight rows. And you wonder what the plan is from the end of Kensington Road. Well, there must be people dying. There must be people making love. There must be people crying out for help from their God above. Is it a town or is it a city? Depends on who you're talking to. But for me, it's just a place where people are living. And they do what they gotta Well, you can hear the hum of the traffic, watch the jet planes come and go. You can see the ships out on the bay from the end of Kensington Road. Well, there must be people laughing, little kids on their first days at school. There must be parents working out how to pass on the golden rule. Some people down there are living their dream. Some are dreaming their lives away. Some are living for tomorrow. Some just getting through the day. It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder. Yes, I wonder. Oh, I wonder. Well, I wonder why. Here's another one from the same area. It's a story that happened in around McGill when I was just a kid. Well, the rats were big as rabbits. In 1966, they came in from the paddock and they chewed Mum's garden to bits. I thought maybe I could catch one and make something with its fur. Then we went to town and saw the film Ben-Hur. So I built a small chariot with the wheels for my sister's pram. All the uncles started laughing when I told them about my plan. They said, "Good luck, boy, we hope you succeed. How many rats to pull that thing you think you're gonna need?" Well, I could get away with 4, but I really wanted 6. I was gonna rope them all together and teach them to do tricks. We'd roll around the neighborhood at fantastic speed. Those rats will pull me faster than any racing steed. Old Pop come down from Broken Hill and helped me build a trap. We built a pretty big one because I wanted the biggest rats. He said, "Don't let the dog out, boy, he'll eat all the bait. And you'll have to be patient and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait." Well, I waited and I waited, buried in the grass. I started to get worried about the rats chewing at my ass. I could hear all the other kids playing in the street, but the only time I left my post is when I had to eat. Well, the holidays are ending and the cousins came down to stay. I got a bit distracted and then the rats just went away. I was enrolled in Morris Brothers starting in a week, so I went back to catching yabbies and playing cricket in the street. Then Dad put the wheels back on my sister's pram and one of the uncles went off to some place called Vietnam. None of that worried me because I had the best plan of all. We were going to hike all the way to Morialta. Then we were going to find the mythical Third Falls. The rat plague of 1966. Ron the Tank Kneebones McGarry Medal in 1966. Decimal currency 1966. The rat plague of 1966. Andy did it right. I fucked it. I messed it up. Okay, now we're going to go right back into the history. Now, I'm going to give my album a plug, the 40 by 40, because it, as I said, 40 years in music, and this one came out on the original. It was one of the first songs I ever wrote. It came out on the Bodgies LP, and it's called Stuffed Again. Just wait till young Jake finishes his beer there. So strong it must be right. I'm headed for. It's a long and troubled night. I see it stretched out before me, and I fear the unknown. I see dark clouds coming. I must face them on my own. Yeah, I'm stuffed again. What happened to those letters that I sent? I'm sinking low, 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 looking for a place to go. You gotta look out for people who just want to use. But if you're as stupid as me, then What happened to those letters that I sent? I'm sinking low, 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 looking for a place to go. Oh yes, I'm stuck again. I'm low, 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 looking for a place to go. Yes, I'm stuck, 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 stuck. I'm sinking low, looking for a place to go. Yeah, I'm stuck, stuck, stuck again. What happened to those letters that I sent? I'm sinking low, 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 looking for a place to go.
Song about being stuffed there.
We'll leave neutral out for a while and we'll do Note to Hillary's Kids. Now here's a song when I went up to Nord High School for what is it, year 11 or something, after getting out from that place down there. I remember telling my old man at the end of year 10 or whatever it was, I'm not going back there, never. I'll go and get a job in a factory or whatever. So then on, I used to be able to walk 2 minutes up to Nord High School from our place instead of catching the bus for an hour and a half every day. But anyway, the thing about Nord High School was there were girls in the class. Now, even though I had 3 sisters, these were proper girls, And in a while there, I remember my first girlfriend's name was Hillary, and we had a very innocent affair, lasted about a month. And, yeah, that's right. And years later, I thought, I wonder what happened to Hillary. And so you Google her name, and it turns out that Hillary had she was a mathematics professor at the Australian National University, and she was famous for coming up with a theory that only a dozen people could understand, one of those really complex mathematical things. And I knew she knew all about that because I explained it to her in leaving at Nord High. But anyway, the sad part of the story was that the reason I could find out so much about Hillary was that it was an obituary and she died sometime before. And the obituary said that she had 2 kids. So this song is called Note to Hillary's Kids. Oh, I've got to swap guitar, sorry. I've ruined the story now.
Well, while he's doing that, did everyone have a good Easter? Yeah? That's great. Really happy to hear that, everyone. Do I have to keep stalling for time? No, he's back. Okay, good.
I don't even know your names, but I know you're out there somewhere, and I'll write this just the same. I trust this finds you well. I hope life's treating you okay. I know this comes out of the blue, but there's something I'd like to say. I just found out your mother died quite a while ago. Nobody told me, there's no reason I should know. But you see, I knew your mother in my last year at school. She was in the brainy class and I was a sporting fool. She took a shine to me, I've got no idea why. She was the first girl I ever kissed and the first to make me cry. I called her mine, it didn't last very long. She let me down gently, said it was time to move along. her name mentioned now and then, till I found out yesterday. You know, I still have a letter that your mother wrote to me, and it takes me back to that summer and love's mysteries. I'd like to let you know, but I don't know where to start, that a little piece of Hillary lives on here in my heart. Thanks. Here's one we haven't done for a while. I think I need that. I drove for 3 days across a dried out plain till it was time to move across into the right hand lane. Some asshole in a 4-wheel drive wouldn't let me in. That's when I knew I was back home again. I turned the radio on to a local station. I heard the last few chords of To Her Door. The radio announcer said, "That's our Paul, but he left here 40 years before." The old dog seemed pleased to see me as I collected my mail, a bunch of bills and catalogs, another Harvey Norman sale. Now I wander through my empty house. I look at pictures from the past, hanging there to remind me good times never last. Now all I ever dreamed of a place and a face I've not yet seen, of towns and hills and valleys, places I'll never know. That's just the way it is now, I suppose. 'Cause all I ever dreams of a face and a place I've not yet seen, of towns and hills and valleys, places I'll never know. That's just the way it is now, I suppose. That's just the way it is now, I suppose. Thanks. Fly away. I could fly away, I'd try today. There's not much here to lose. I still got 3 chords and the truth. So I'll fly away, fly away. Don't ask me why. It's hard to say. I look to the sky. Still sing the blues. Ain't that the truth? So I fly away, fly away. If I could fly away, I'd try today. Don't ask me why. Too hard to say. I look to the sky. Every single day. If I could fly away. Thank you.
Song about flying away there.
I never ever had a doubt about how things would all turn out. But now I stay awake and wonder if I might be wrong. What broke the spell that I've been under for so long? Now black and white has turned to gray. Dusk and dawn replace the day. And it's a certainty no longer about what I have to say. I'm feeling weak instead of stronger. Change my mind from day to day. I got to make a new song. Never change your heart. I got to get a new plan. I want to be a new man if I can. Would all turn out. But I look in the mirror every morning, Lord, it tells me the truth. I greet that bring a good morning and say goodbye to my youth. I got to make a new start, have a change of heart. I got to get a new plan. I want to be a new man if I can. I got to make a new start, have a change of heart. I got to get a new plan. I want to be a new man if I can. Sometimes when I'm asked to sum up my book in a few words, I just say 5 men in a car. Away. There's only trucks and us on this giant highway. 5 men in a car. 5 men in a car. Towns go by, they're just names. Refueling stops on our road to fame. We've been here before, maybe. Now I'm not sure, but it looks the same as the place before. Now it's my turn to cry. The oil light comes on, outside and untrue. If we break down out here, not sure what we'll do. Roadhouse food near Gundagai could be Horsham or Hay, Lismore or Yass or Narrabri. Roadhouse Blues.
Song about men there.
5, in fact.
5 of them.
Okay, now you can't do this song at a work function. That's all I'll say about it. My boss is an idiot. His boss is too. He'll do anything they tell him to. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. The hardest part about my job is to put up with that creep. My boss is an idiot. 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 He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about you. The only thing he cares about is when his promotion comes through. He struts around the floor, thinks he's very clever. That man is a genius. Said no one ever. My boss is an idiot. 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 One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. My boss is an idiot. I don't need that. Okay, well, thanks for coming down tonight. This has been great. Great afternoon. Don't forget, we need some petrol money, so we've got to sell a few CDs and stuff. But I'll finish off with this song called Pat Malone. It's the story. It came into my head when I was about 20 years old, and I've been working as a brickies labourer for a long time, and that was the best paid job you could ever get in the, without any skills in the old days. And I saved up a lot of money because I didn't drink much and only had a motorbike, didn't smoke. And I think it was the older sister of my girlfriend at the time said, Don, you should go and do the backpacking thing around Europe, That's what everybody does, go to Earl's Court and all that. So I did, and my plan was to buy a motorcycle in London and drive it all the way, around Europe and come back through Asia and back to Australia on this motorbike. And but nobody told me how cold it was in Europe in winter, and none of my family had ever been there or anything, so... Anyway, I landed in London in February, and I went and bought this clapped-out BSA A65. I said to the bloke, hey, is it registered and insured? And he said, we don't have that stuff here, mate. So I rode all over Europe on this, well, not all over Europe because it didn't last that long. But anyway, and I come across this diary the other day that I kept a little bit of my trip there, and it said... The trip to Manchester was so awful, I'll never forget it. So I won't waste writing about it here. Thing is, the rest of the trip was so bad, I forgot about that one to Manchester. I can't remember that. But I'm going down this autobahn near Hanover in Germany, and the BSA A65 sticks in first gear. And everything's going past me at 160 k's an hour. So I could have fixed it, but I put all my helmet and tools on the ground beside the autobahn, and the speed of the cars was just blowing it down the road, and I nearly got killed getting my helmet back in anything. So anyway, I made my way freezing cold to this youth hostel in Hanover, Germany, and I sold it to a bloke there. He was keen on old motorbikes, he said, and he gave me 50 drachmas for it, which, well, I thought was pretty good, 50 of anything. And then so I went down to this Snaps bar in Hanover, and I was going to get a beer, have a few beers, and then travel around as a backpacker on buses and stuff. And then I went to pay for my snaps, my beer, and it turns out drachmas is Greek money and not German money. So I don't know. Anyway, this old bloke took a pity on me and bought me a beer. And as I sat in that bar, drinking my German beer, I remember this feeling years later when I became a world famous singer-songwriter, and I put it in this song. I was traveling in a foreign town when a stranger flagged me down. I was lost and far from home when I first met Pat Malone. After a while, we went our separate ways, and for many years he disappeared, never leaving a trace. Then in a crowded bar, I was drinking alone. He said, "Remember me, I'm Pat Malone." He brings no comfort, he brings no cheer. That's the way it is when he's here. But when the nights are long, there's nothing else to do but drink with Pat Malone. I've known him now for many years, and we have shared 1,000 beers, but I could not call him a friend. He's just someone I see now and then. He brings no comfort, he brings no cheer. That's the way it is when he's here. But when the nights are long, there's nothing else to do but drink with Pat Malone. With Pat Malone. Thanks very much. I hope to see you again pretty soon. See ya. thanks very much for that. Appreciate it. We're going to do a song now. I can't believe how many times I've heard this when I say we're going to do a song called Bob Dylan was born in Adelaide. And how many people come up to me after the gig and say, Bob Dylan wasn't born in Adelaide, he was born in Minnesota. But anyway, this is what would have happened if he was born here. In E, is it? Yeah.
We'll do it in whatever key you started in.
Dylan was born in Adelaide in 1941. He went to Unley High School, but he never got along. Not exactly unpopular, just a little strange sometimes. He excelled in English and liked to talk in funny rhymes. Once he wrote a song, something about blowing in the wind. Well, then he went to teachers' college and didn't play much again. Mary Lennon at a protest rally. They bought a brick veneer down near Happy Valley. Bob got a job teaching poetry to teenage Catholic boys. He was ideal to the job, immune to the smell and noise. Mary thought Bob's voice was awful and encouraged him not to sing. She said, Bob, take up photography. Music's not your thing. Brother lived in Maylands, his name was John. He was a bitter, twisted cynic, and they never got along. He drunk himself to death, working in the public service. Bob and Mary were alone at the funeral service, till it was nearly time to go, when three blokes showed up and introduced themselves as George, Paul and Ringo. After 40 years of teaching, Bob finally called time. The staff took up a collection and bought him some fine wine. Now the Dylans are grey nomads, off to see Australia. Bob threw his old guitar in the back of the camper trailer. And one night around the campfire, after a lot of rearranging, Bob calls, hey Mary, listen to this. It's called The Times They Are a Change. Yeah.
Thank you and good night.
I've got to introduce the band, sorry. Jake Morrison on the guitar. Eddie Morrison on the bass. And Andy Praskonski on the drums.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour, prettier than a flower, the man with the largest arms, the most charms, who does the most harm, too hot to handle, too cold to hold, Mr.
I think we're back here on the 29th of August.